most people will never escape, not because they can't, but because they refuse to confront the truth. They live on the surface, they work just enough to survive, they spend just enough to stay in debt, and they think just enough to stay comfortable, but broke. Understand this: broke is not just a financial condition, it's a mindset, a belief system, a habit of thinking that quietly sabotages everything you touch. And it starts early. We are trained to follow, trained to obey, trained to trade our time for scraps and be grateful for the privilege. We are taught to memorize answers, not to ask questions, to work for money but never how to multiply it. We are told that wanting wealth is greedy, while being broke is somehow noble. We are told that debt is normal, that saving is impossible, and that freedom is a fairy tale. But here's the truth: most people stay broke because they were programmed to. And unless you wake up and rewrite the script, you will live out someone else's version of reality. The system needs you small, needs you obedient, needs you afraid of risk and addicted to comfort. Because if you ever woke up, truly woke up, you'd realize how much power you gave away. You'd realize that every excuse you made was actually a lie wrapped in fear. And fear is the currency of the broke. They fear failure, so they never start. They fear judgment, so they never lead. They fear risk, so they never invest in themselves or anything else. And as a result, they spend their entire lives earning just enough to stay in the cage. Not because they're lazy, but because they're conditioned to consume, to escape, to numb the pain of a life unlived with temporary pleasures that keep them poor. Poor in wallet, poor in vision, poor in purpose. But here's the most dangerous part: they don't even realize it. Because comfort is the drug that makes slavery feel like safety. The broke mindset shows up in the smallest decisions. It's in the way you spend your money without thinking. It's in the habit of choosing temporary pleasure over long-term growth. It's in the excuse of "I'll start tomorrow" or "I don't have time today." Small choices become big habits, and those habits become your reality. When you live in a state of lack, you start acting as if you have no control over your circumstances. You believe the paycheck is the ceiling. You believe the debt is permanent. You believe the limits are real. And so every day, you reinforce that belief. You waste time scrolling through things that don't serve you. You buy things you don't need to impress people you don't care about. You tell yourself that this is just the way it is, and you get stuck in the loop of comfort and scarcity. But here's the thing about comfort: it's a trap. It feels safe, but it keeps you in a cage of mediocrity. And the reason most people stay broke is simple: they do not prioritize growth. They live by the lie that there's enough to go around. But the truth is this: there's only enough for the ones who are actively creating value. Those who master the game of money create wealth, while those who follow the rules of scarcity only consume. You see, the truly wealthy are not wealthier because they work harder. They are wealthier because they think differently. They see opportunity where others see risk. They invest in themselves when everyone else spends on distractions. The first step to breaking free from the chains of financial mediocrity is this: start thinking like a creator, not a consumer. Ask yourself, what can I build? What can I contribute? What can I offer that's worth more than what I take? How can I create value that someone will pay for? Wealth begins with this shift. It begins with realizing that your skills, your talents, your knowledge, these are your assets. But until you see them as such, they are worthless. You will trade them for pennies. You will waste them on meaningless entertainment. But when you decide to invest in your own mind, your own growth, your own value, that's when the world starts to pay attention. And it's not just about money. It's about building wealth in every area of your life. Wealth of character, wealth of knowledge, wealth of opportunities, wealth of time. But here's the secret most won't tell you. It's hard. Breaking free is not an easy path. You have to be willing to let go of the small comforts that hold you back. You have to give up the instant gratification of today for the long-term rewards of tomorrow. You have to learn the power of delayed gratification. You have to be okay with discomfort. You have to be willing to say no to the things that distract you from your purpose. And above all, you have to take responsibility. Because here's the brutal truth. You are the only one standing in your way, not your boss, not your circumstances, not the economy, your mindset, your habits, your decisions. You are the one who holds the key to your escape. The moment you take full responsibility for where you are, you unlock the door to everything you've ever wanted. No more excuses, no more blaming circumstances, no more waiting for someone to rescue you. You are the captain of your ship. And if you don't like the direction you're heading, then change course. But to do that, you must take ownership. Ownership of your time. Ownership of your choices, ownership of your results. It's easy to point the finger. It's easy to say the system is rigged. It's easy to blame the economy or your upbringing or the job market. But the ones who break free are the ones who look inward and ask, what can I control? You control your mindset. You control your discipline. You control your effort. And once you realize that, once you take full responsibility, you start taking action that matters. But action without strategy is like running in circles. You must learn to invest wisely. Money isn't the only thing you invest. You invest your time, your energy, and your attention. The wealthiest people in the world know that the most valuable asset you have is your ability to focus. So what are you focusing on? Are you investing in things that multiply your wealth? Are you investing in your personal growth, in learning new skills, in broadening your horizons? Or are you spending your energy on distractions that keep you small? Understand this. Money does not grow by spending. It grows by investing. And when you learn to invest in yourself first, you become your best asset. Start by reading. Start by learning. Start by surrounding yourself with people who challenge your thinking. And start by eliminating all the excuses you've used to stay comfortable. The world doesn't owe you anything, but it will reward you if you invest in the right things. If you invest in knowledge, that knowledge will bring wealth. If you invest in your body, it will bring you health and energy. If you invest in relationships that push you forward, they will bring you opportunities. The richest people didn't get there by working for a paycheck. They got there by investing in what was going to pay them over the long term. They saw their time, their knowledge, their ideas as the most precious currency. And they didn't just invest for money. They invested for freedom. The freedom to make choices. The freedom to control their own time. The freedom to pursue their vision without limits. And that's the true wealth we should all be after. Not just money, but the freedom that comes with mastering your craft, your mind, and your purpose. The journey to financial freedom, true freedom, is not a sprint. It's a relentless marathon that requires grit, resilience, and, most importantly, commitment. Commitment to yourself. Commitment to your vision. Commitment to doing what most people aren't willing to do, because most people will never make it. They'll quit. They'll fall back into the comfort of their excuses. They'll give up when it gets hard, when they face the inevitable setbacks that come with growth. They'll turn back to what's familiar because it's easier. But not you, because when you take responsibility for your life, you decide you won't be like everyone else. You refuse to be part of the herd that accepts mediocrity as normal. You step into the arena and you stay there. You don't quit. Why? Because your purpose is too big. Your vision is too powerful. And the price of failure, the price of staying stuck in the same cycle, is higher than the price of pushing forward. Understand this: the wealthy aren't always the most talented, they're not always the smartest, but they're the ones who stuck it out. They're the ones who kept going when the world told them to quit. They're the ones who invested not just in money, but in themselves, in their growth, in their potential. And now they live with freedom, not just the freedom to do what they want, but the freedom to choose. They choose what they build. They choose who they help. They choose how they spend their time. And the truth is, you have that same power. You have that same potential within you. You don't have to settle. You don't have to be stuck in a cycle of financial struggle. You don't have to accept a life of mediocrity. All you need is the willingness to take that first step, to rise above the limits you've been conditioned to believe. Take full responsibility. Stop waiting for permission. Stop wasting time on things that don't serve you. Invest in yourself. Invest in your knowledge. Invest in your future. Because once you break free from the shackles of the broke mindset, once you start investing in yourself with conviction, once you decide to rise and never look back, you will never go back to that life of struggle and scarcity. You'll look back at your journey and you'll realize you chose freedom, you chose abundance, you chose wealth, and nothing is more powerful than the life you build when you decide to break free. This is your moment. This is your time. Are you ready to break free? Or will you stay where you are, trapped by the lies that keep you small? The choice is yours.